This tiny, sub $70 device just saved gaming for me. It plays everything from Game Boy, Game Boy Color to PS1. It fits in my pocket without any issues, and it honestly has reminded me of what gaming used to be like and why I started gaming in the first place. Now, what is it, you ask? It's the Miyoo Mini Plus. And the Miyoo Mini Plus is an awesome, budget-friendly emulation Game Boy style emulator. It is, however, an updated version of the original Miyoo Mini, which was probably one of the smallest emulators that you could get, but you can't get that anymore. The Miyoo Mini Plus is slightly bigger, has a little bit better ergonomics if you ask me, for bigger hands and a bigger screen. And what really sets it apart for me is not what it is, but what it's capable of doing. Now, let's start with the size. This thing is pretty tiny, I'm gonna be honest. It's smaller than my phone is, but it honestly feels great in my hands. I can hold it well without my hands cramping. You can toss it in your pocket or even a small compartment in your backpack if you want to. And a lot of the times I even forget that it's there. It feels that small. Now, the screen is an IPS panel and it looks beautiful. Games from the Game Boy, the Super Nintendo, and even the PS1 honestly just look amazing to me and incredibly sharp. What really shocked me was how comfortable it was to play for long sessions. Now, usually playing handhelds, even though they're my favorite, a lot of the times my hands tend to get very crampy. It does come with a D-pad, and honestly, that's probably one of the best features for me because I grew up on the Game Boy Color. That was my first console while I was a kid, and I spent hours on end playing that. And that was mainly why I decided to get this. I just wanted to feel that again. Now, really quick before we get to the second Pro, I want to hear from you. What's one game that instantly brings you back to why you fell in love with gaming in the first place? Drop your answer in the comments below, because I want to hear from you. And if you're enjoying the video or gaining any value from this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel because I've got a ton more to share with you. And now on to the second Pro. I would say the second Pro that I have is that it's very budget friendly. At the moment, I just checked and you can still get this on Amazon for $60 and same day delivery. It'd get here by the end of the day if I really wanted it. For $60, if you ask me, that's a great starting point for retro gaming, especially if you're just wanting some of the Game Boy Color games, the Game Boy Advance games, some PS1 games, Super Nintendo, original Nintendo. It's honestly just pretty great. Now, when I got mine, it came with an SD card and Onion OS on the device already. And if you ask me, that's one of the better things that it can come with. The first thing I did was load up Pokemon Crystal, and honestly, I spent hours just playing through Pokemon Crystal and just in awe at how amazing it looked on this IPS screen. And the third Pro I'm going to list out is the fact that it does come with that custom firmware. I think that's where it goes from decent to great. Out of the box, it's running Onion OS, just like I said. With Onion OS, you get beautiful themes, amazing box art, your save states, your fast forwarding, rewind, overclocking, and a ton more things. You can tweak how it runs to make it yours, to make it run the way that you want it to. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to tweaking or overclocking or anything like that, but there are definitely YouTube videos out there for that. Now, with those three out of the way, let's talk about the biggest con I had and the biggest issue I had when I first started up and started playing my Miyoo Mini Plus. That major con was the SD card that it came with. The SD card that comes with the Miyoo Mini Plus is absolute garbage. The first one I had completely erased itself. Everything was gone off of it, and it wasn't simple to re-download any of the files that I needed to run Onion OS because I'm not an expert. I mean, I'm sure it is simple, but I couldn't figure it out. So I started the return process and received a second Miyoo Mini Plus with the same exact SD card. And on that SD card, I wasn't able to save games. No matter what I did or tried, none of the games would save. So what I ended up doing was just using one of the mini SD cards that I had lying around, transferred all of the files to my computer, then transferred those files to that SD card, popped it in, and it started working fine. I was able to save games. Wasn't having any issues with the SD cards. So that would be my first recommendation is if you do go with the Miyoo Mini Plus, definitely use a name brand SD card. Trust me, it'll make the whole experience better. Other than that, there's not very many cons with the Miyoo Mini Plus. I mean, it's a budget machine that plays retro video games, the video games that I wanted to play. Now, here's where it gets personal. I recently hit a wall with gaming, so that's why I sought out the Miyoo Mini Plus. because to me, modern gaming just felt like a chore. I wasn't having fun anymore. And it honestly felt like I was kind of just chasing the next big release or the next big game just to keep up. Not that I actually cared about these big games or the new releases. Then I found this thing. And right away, as soon as I got it, I started playing Pokemon Crystal. And then everything got deleted. But when I finally got it to work properly, I rebooted up Pokemon Crystal. And that was one of the greatest feelings to me. It brought me back to that feeling of sitting on the ground just playing my Game Boy Color or sitting in the back seat while my parents were driving and just playing video games. So the final verdict is the Mii U Mini Plus isn't a perfect machine, but for sub $70, it's definitely one to get, especially because it saved gaming for me. And if you want to hear me talk about that, go ahead and click on this video right here on why the Mii U Mini Plus reminded me on why I loved video gaming in the first place.